All right, so hello everyone at Nerds and Beyond. We are here joined today by the wonderful Alex Horne. Thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure, Jonah. It's very nice to join you today, I hope. I think. Let's see.
Yeah, hopefully it is. Um, so for those not in the know, Alex Horne is the creator and co-host of a show called Taskmaster, which has entered its 10th year and is about to start season 19. As of the time of recording, will be tomorrow will be the premiere. So we're all very excited to see that.
That's a good point. It is tomorrow, isn't it? I think in America, maybe it comes out on Friday on YouTube. But
Yes,
yeah, it's imminent. It's on the doorstep.
yeah, and it's gonna be really great. I think the lineup this season is already looking chaotic, and I can't wait.
It really is chaotic. Yeah, some years are more chaotic than others, but this feels like it's a pretty crazy
It's
one.
okay. Yeah. So Taskmaster was kind of your brainchild during a time when you couldn't make the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, correct?
Yes, I like it when people do their research. Yeah, so I used to just do stand-up comedy and used to go to the Edinburgh Festival every year. And then my wife and I had a child, so I couldn't go. So I was sat at home twiddling my thumbs and came up with a different scheme to sort of pass the time, really, which was setting tasks to other comedians. And the following Edinburgh, I went up and did a show about it. So that was the birth of it.
Is there any particular task in this upcoming series that you're especially excited for us to see?
Yeah, there's a lot, but so there's three in every episode, or five if you include the beginning and end ones, and 10 episodes. So there's a lot, and I always struggle to remember them because they're a slight blur. But there's one where they had to be the least annoying person sitting around a campfire. They had to either sing a song, do a poem, or tell a ghost story, but in the least annoying way. And I like ones which are not just sing a song. It has to be, there always has to be a layer in Taskmaster. So that's a good one. But they also have to do a really cool thing. One task in episode one, they have to do a really cool thing. Then they get a second part two, which is do the same cool thing but backwards. And when they play the backward thing, it needs to look as cool as it did when you play it forward, which is complicated, but when you watch it, it'll make sense. And there's some really good examples in this and some really bad ones, and that's what we want. We want people to do things well and badly.
Yes, absolutely. I think the failure is just as entertaining as the successes on
Yeah,
Taskmaster.
I agree with
Some of
that.
the some of the best moments come out of failure, even not knowing they were failures at the time. I mean, one of the most famous ones is poor Joe Wilkinson and his potato throw.
Or Joe Wilkinson. Yeah.
That was
Yeah, I
probably the
still
best
have
moment.
people I still have people telling me that we were wrong about that and that Joe didn't cheat, but he did. His foot was clearly over the line, Jonah. There's no doubt.
Yeah, I agree.
Can't,
I
can't
watched the
cheat on
footage,
this. Yeah.
zoom in, enhance. It was on there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny
So
how seriously people take it, but I think
yeah,
people part of the fun of the show is taking things seriously that you shouldn't.
right, exactly. Yeah, I think a lot of good comedy comes from that. Comes from taking things seriously that aren't meant to be.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, that's the ethos of the show, definitely.
So over the last 10 years that Taskmaster has been on, it's been growing its audience. What has it like been for you to see the audience grow internationally?
Well, it's quite interesting because I mean, it's carried on far longer than I thought it would and spread far further than I thought it would. But it's still quite a niche program. It's still quite culty. And in Britain, it's not, lots of people know it, but still lots of people don't. And yes, it's in lots of different countries, but still, it still feels like a little secret that
Yeah.
more and more people know about, but it's still a bit of a secret. And I love that. And it's not meant to be any bigger than, well, it's not meant to be big in any way. So I think, we're not spending any more money on the show. It's quite, all the props are homemade and things you could find around your house. And we don't want to turn it into some big brash show. So when I meet people from America, particularly who've discovered it, it's a really lovely surprise, and I'm always amazed. Um, but yeah, I can walk around in America hassled easily. And also people who do come up and say hello are always so polite and surprised that I'm there. So yeah, it's a lovely feeling that it's spread, but it's not overwhelming yet.
That's good. I think that's a good sweet spot to be, where you have your group of people that know you and appreciate what you do, but it's not so big that you just can't even go outside anymore.
Oh God, I can't imagine. I mean, Greg has that problem a little bit because he's so in England. He's so recognizable because he's been in lots of things. He's also obviously enormous as a person. So everyone looks at him anyway, and then they recognize him from various things. So he gets much more hassle than me. I blend in. I'm a very bland figure, which is useful.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm 5'6", so trying to imagine myself standing next to Greg is it's a feat. More
Yeah,
than
it
a
would be
foot.
like when you see two dogs next to each other who are both dogs, but they're entirely different, you
Yeah.
know, dimensions. That happens a lot with Greg. I mean, almost anyone next to Greg looks petite. So
Yeah,
yeah,
which is why the little Alex Horne moniker is so funny because next to most of us you are tall, but
I
next to
think I'm
him you're
tall.
not.
Yeah, most people get cross with me when they meet me because they say, "I thought you were going to be small," but there's nothing I can do about it. No, I
Yeah.
don't think it's my fault.
No, as far as I'm aware, we don't get to choose how tall we are.
Mm,
Science could prove us wrong later. You never know.
yeah, you never know. You never know.
So speaking of fans, there's been a lot of sort of artwork that has been inspired by the show. I've seen so many drawings and paintings. There's been like crochet work and just the absurd amount of fan fiction that's come out of this show. So, what's it like for you as someone who's creative to see other people take what you've created and be creative
Yeah,
with that?
it is amazing. I'm going to go and grab something. I got
Okay.
given something. I got I got given a magazine the other day that someone found. Tim Key was in America, and somebody gave him
Hmm.
this homemade magazine about stuff that I
Yeah,
do.
that's my
And
friend.
it's oh, is it? I thought it, but Tim read it to me in the car. We were driving. It's really well done. It's so brilliant.
Yes, they showed
And
it to us, and I was just amazed. They're so
yeah,
good.
we were knocked out by it. So we always have the similar response of, "Oh man, this is so crazy that people are taking the time to do this." But mainly, we're in awe of how talented people are. And if, if we can somehow enable people to unleash their creative side, it's brilliant. I mean, it's weird. I don't like seeing myself in any photo, let alone hand drawn, but they're really good. So I'm okay. I mean, I love it. I find it weird. Of course, it's weird because
Yeah,
we're all just people. Um, but I think people know that as well. As in, I get the feeling people love to use it as a kicking off place, but they never revere us. We're just the figures of fun. Um, so yeah, it's a huge compliment, but mainly the artwork is often amazing. And also on YouTube, some people do compilations and their
hmm,
own sort of cuts of Taskmaster, and often they're so well edited and really thoughtful and really well put
yeah,
together. So I don't go Googling myself or looking, but they pop up on the algorithm, and some often think we should, well, and actually sometimes we do end up working with these people. It's not a bad way of getting in. Like we have a photographer called, or a designer called Hyman Lee, who
hmm,
started by doing pictures of us for the Horn section, and now is our main designer. So yeah, I think nowadays if you want to get ahead in the world of the media, it's you've just got to go out and do it and put your stuff out there. So I don't think that's why people are necessarily doing it, but it can be a lovely side effect.
yeah. I love. I've personally loved seeing everything that's come out of this. It's one of the most creatively rich fandoms that I've seen in a while, and it's really great. I don't have
Yeah, I
any
wonder if,
sort of that artistic ability, so I just look at
right.
other people's stuff.
But I wonder if it's partly to do with Andy Devonshire, the director, who really takes pride in every episode looking good and looking different and
Yeah,
keeping hopefully surprising people. So I think if we're always creative, then maybe that's what rubs off on other people. You never know, something like that.
yeah. No, I totally agree with that. Um, So another sort of spiritual, I guess, sister to Taskmaster is Game Changer on Dropout. And I know that you have met Sam Reich and his wife, Elaine Carroll. I've only seen the picture of you guys together. I don't actually know how did that meeting come about.
A good question. I have no idea. I think he got in touch with me and said, "Look, here's the thing I do. It's similar to what you do." And I watched it and loved it and agree with him. And he was coming here with his wife Elaine, and we just decided to meet up. And I think no, we had a Zoom first of all. So he told me all about Dropout TV, which I didn't know the concept of it. And the media world is changing so quickly, and it feels like they're doing a really interesting thing with that. And I think we talked about whether we could somehow hook up and do something similar, and maybe we will in the future. At the moment, we're my kind of bandwidth is full, but we clearly are on a similar path. So yeah, it was just lovely to see him socially. We're not working together, but that's a yet. You know,
Yeah,
we it was lovely showing him around the house, and I'm quite jealous of his studio. Yeah, I love what they're doing.
great. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm sorry.
No worries.
So you have watched a little bit of Game Changer. Was there anyone on Game Changer that really stuck out to you, somebody who might also be a good fit for Taskmaster?
You have to be completely honest. Names wise, I can't remember anybody, but
Yeah.
Sam himself would do my job far better than me. So no, but I just like the spirit of improvisation and them not knowing what's happening, and also the fact that it's
Mhm.
different every single time. That's
Yeah.
something that is hard to do. And most TV shows, you have a format, you repeat it over and over again, whereas what they're doing and what we're doing is trying to be different every single episode. And I think that's what I really liked about it.
Yeah. We sometimes have talks within my friend group of who we would like to see from Dropout on Taskmaster.
Ah,
And it's a lot of fun to think about, well, how would this person do at this kind of task and this person do? So there's definitely um a market out there for crossover if that were to ever
crossover,
happen
yeah.
down the line. I know because both of you guys, I mean, him and you are both always busy. I mean, Dropout's always doing stuff. So,
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
yeah, it's great.
Well, look, if you've
So,
got any names for me, if there's one person that stands out, let me know and we'll see what we can do.
my personal top pick was Brennan Lee Mulligan.
Okay.
Because of the way that he reacts to things on Game Changer, they even did an episode specifically where the whole point of the game was that Brennan was never right. And
Right.
so he could never get a point the whole game. And once he figured it out, he went on like a 2 minute tirade, and it was the best thing I've ever seen.
That's a lovely
So
twist. Okay. Yeah.
yeah, Brendan's pretty great. So during COVID, you guys did a thing called home tasking. Um,
Yes.
you want to tell us a little bit about that and some of the cool things that came out of that?
Yeah. So we were just obviously locked down like you were. And I think a couple of parents got in touch with me and Greg and said, could you set my kids a task? Because we're bored. And so we did. And then more and more requests came in. So we decided to just put a task up on YouTube. Said, if anyone wants to do a task, here is one for you. We will judge it and pick a winner next week. And almost immediately, we had this tidal wave of families joining in. Kids were bored at home, parents were desperate to do something, and they liked seeing what other people were doing. And it felt very sociable, but you didn't have to leave your house, so it was safe. And there's this real, again, this creativity that we tapped into. And all the tasks were things like turn your bathroom into a nightclub or recreate a sporting moment in your kitchen. So there were things you do in your house, but people were really talented and went to town on it. And they're all up there on YouTube still. And we did carry on for a bit after lockdown, and we wondered whether we should, keep doing it. But actually, it was a real thing in the time. It was COVID specific, I think, because as soon as COVID was over, we all wanted to go outside and see people other than our families. But it was yeah, it kept us going. So my kids would help me judge them. Greg would pick the winner, and yeah, it was as useful for me than as anyone else, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I did watch a few of those videos, and yeah, it's really great to even have a sense of community even during a time like that. We were all so separated. I think anything that made us feel like we were still connected was a really helpful thing.
Yeah, and it was global as well. People from all over, literally all over the world was doing it, and a few sort of news programs picked it up and talked about it, and it felt very odd, but it felt positive and not it wasn't a sort of mercenary thing. There was no money involved. It was just a fun thing with, I suppose, the weird effect that more people found us on YouTube, but that wasn't the intended effect. But it felt like we built up a nice community of people.
Yeah, that's really good. Also during lockdown, you and Mark Watson and Tim Key, speaking of like the comic that you have there, You guys revived an old game, rebranded it as No More Jockeys,
Yes.
and it is absolutely one of my favorite things. I binged through everything up on the
Really?
channel really quickly.
Oh, man.
It was so much fun. Um,
Ah,
it's now seeped into my own vocabulary. I find myself saying things like "big if" quite often
there
now
you go.
that I didn't used to say
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
um,
Well, me too.
yeah, they just like they get in your brain after hearing them so much. Did it help with home tasking and with No More Jockeys to have sort of a comedic outlet, especially with No More Jockeys, even though you couldn't
Yeah.
perform in front of an audience, having that really helped?
Well, yeah, I mean, it was just, again, not intentional. It was just we wanted to hang out together online and we thought let's record it because we think it's quite funny. But it wasn't a sort of cynical attempt to do something. It was just, yeah, let's fill the time and yeah, have an outlet. And
Yeah,
we really needed it. And again, it's very similar to home tasking. We thought about carrying it on. We do the odd one, but it was of its time, I think. It tapped into the general psyche of the world that we're trapped and we're going slightly mad. Um, and we keep talking about doing it again, but it was just, yeah, it was a thing that we did and it was really fun. But
yeah,
it was mainly, yeah, three comedians who couldn't perform, stuck in a computer, really.
yeah. It was, well, it was even after, what now, 5 years later, even after all that time, it's still a very entertaining watch.
Well, that's good. I mean, I was with Tim the other day and we thought we had a good chat, like whether we should do it again as a podcast or, you know, just start it again. But it feels like if we did that, it would be for the purpose of, why would we be doing it? It would probably be to make money. And we don't really want to do it for that reason, which sounds maybe too worthy, but I don't know. It was quite easy to do in lockdown because there was nothing else to do. Whereas to do it now, we'd
Right.
have to set time aside to do it instead of seeing family or friends. So yeah, I think we might just leave it as a lovely thing that we did, and we'll do it once a year, twice a year, and
Yeah, it'd be
wait for
nice.
another
Just
lockdown.
yeah. Well,
Hopefully, another pandemic
hopefully,
around the corner,
yeah. We're all crossing our
or
fingers for
worse,
that.
it'd be
The
World
next,
War.
the next Spanish flu. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Also coming out very soon, and you guys just premiered last night the second season of the Horn Section TV show, which we're all very
Mm.
excited about. I believe I read this morning that it's coming out on the 22nd of May.
Yes, I think that date was released yesterday. So yeah, 22nd of May. I think we're trying to put it on YouTube like we do with Taskmaster, but I don't know where we are with that. I don't know how people can watch it in different places, but people find ways of watching things. So yeah, May the 22nd it officially comes out, and I think the whole thing is then sort of available here in the UK. So yeah, yeah, we're excited.
Well,
We filmed it a couple of years ago, so
yeah,
we'd kind of forgotten what was in it, but it's
yeah.
pretty full on. We're quite proud of how far we pushed it. It's pretty stupid.
I'm certainly looking forward to it. The first season was really fun. It touched a good spot for me of being just silly enough, but also heartfelt enough that it's a show that I feel like I could watch multiple times and not get sick of
Okay,
it.
that's good. Yeah, there was
Yeah,
a bit of heartfelt stuff in season one. There's a little bit into yeah, but we didn't want to push that too much because that's not who we are. But it does come from a real place of six people who are friends and trying to work together. And yeah, it's not serious at all, but it does have some reality to it, I suppose.
yeah. How did the other members of the band prepare for acting? Did any of them have any acting experience beforehand, or was this all new to them?
No experience, but they did have some acting lessons when we found out we are going to do it. I don't know if it helped, but we just we were very much learning on the job. It was an interesting revelation that acting is quite difficult. I don't know if you have you done any acting, Jonah?
Long time ago, yeah.
Right. Yeah, you have to listen. You have to
Hmm.
try to do things the same each time. You have to. It's an interesting one. We watch it back, and there's bits we go, oh wow, we did some acting, and there are bits we go, oh no, we didn't do that very well. So yeah, but I think we're never pretending to be actors. We're clearly musicians and a comedian having fun. So we're not too fussed.
That's good. Um, how did the casting for the characters outside of the band? was it was it mainly the casting directors that did that, or did you have any input, like to get Georgia Tennant and John Oliver and everybody else, Desiree?
Yeah. Well, the comedians was a bit of both in that I had people in mind. I really wanted John to be in it. And we've got Reggie Watts this time around and Tim Key's in it again. And there's various people here, Ronnie Ancona and Stevie Martin, Kyle Smith Biner, all the comics in it are kind of me and the band, that's who we wanted. The actors, like Georgia, I that was through the casting director, but I'm so grateful. So our key cast of her and Camille and Tim Mahedran. That came through the normal casting route, which I've never. This is all new to me, so we had to see tapes and things like that. And I thought everyone was amazing.
Yeah,
But yes, you had to take a lot of advice on that. But the main thing is we all became friends from it, and it's a nice thing. So we're very lucky to have had the opportunity because not many people get to do a sitcom, and to do two seasons is great because it
yeah,
makes to do one you think, oh, there was more to do. Whereas two, if it ends after two, we're happy with that.
yeah. I think, yeah, even if we only ever get to, it'll be, I think, a um, perfect little moment in time.
Yeah, yeah. It's not going to be Friends. It's
Yeah,
not going
yeah,
to be a long-running sitcom, but yeah, it was quite intense. It's because we've got our normal outlet of doing tour shows, which is live, and we muck around a lot. This is a different beast.
yeah,
It's quite intense work.
absolutely. Do you have any current personal favorite TV shows that you're watching at the moment?
There's a show called Big Boys in the UK, which I'd not seen. It's just finished here after three seasons. Really worth watching. It's got heart, but it's really silly as well. True story ish. So yeah, Big Boys at the moment. I've done the whole White Lotus thing, Black Mirror. You can't help but like these programs. But if you're going small, White Lotus, or look up a show called Bangmouth Village on YouTube. That's our sense of humor. It's very, very funny and stupid. Bangmouth Village or Big Boys. Those are my recommendations.
All right, so I'll definitely have to check. I've definitely never heard of Big Mouth Village, so I'm gonna have to look that up
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
not it's not adolescence. It's it's quite different. It's good.
Okay. I haven't watched Adolescence either. I have heard a
That's
lot
also
about it.
amazing.
Yeah,
It's worth watching, but it's a different genre to what I do.
yeah, yeah, yeah. From what I've heard, it's just a little different. Um,
Mm.
yeah. Speaking of the tour, you guys are on tour, sort of sporadically throughout the year. Um,
Yeah.
and you just wrapped up the latest season of your podcast, which was an absolute delight to listen to.
Oh,
Um,
thanks, Joe. It's one of our favorite things to do, but we don't not many people know about it. So it's really lovely to hear feedback from people saying they like it. I mean, Taskmaster's quite culty. The Horne section's really culty.
yeah, yeah.
We have some devoted
It's a
fans,
subsect.
and
Yeah,
yeah. So it's worth doing because we'll enjoy doing it. But when we hear feedback saying, "Oh, I listen to every episode and know you all," that makes it feel even more worthwhile.
I kept a promise to myself that I would only be able to listen to the new episodes when I was out on walks. I go on walks almost every day after work. So that was like my little reward to myself. Like, okay, if you go on a walk today, you get to listen to the podcast.
Oh,
So
that's great.
it was
I'm
really
sorry
good
we can't
company
do
to
it
have.
more. Yeah, I'm sorry. Some podcasts, obviously, they come out every single week, but we can't quite do that because it involves
No,
quite a lot of
that's too
writing, quite a lot
much.
of getting together. But we wish we could do more. And I think the whole thing with the Horn section is that we'll carry on until we die. So once once our own children leave and we have more time, we'll crack a few more out.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the horn section um, still going at 90 years old world tour.
Yeah, it's only going to get funnier. I think the older you get, the funnier you can be in terms of behaving badly.
Yeah,
It's You can get away with more, I think.
right, right. Is there any excuse me, are there any plans for any more future recorded albums? Or I know you guys have been recording a little bit at some of the tour shows. Is there any plans to maybe put that into an album?
Yes, good point. I think there is a plan to put another album out. We're going to try to do stuff with the stuff from the TV show. And I think we might try to film the tour show at some point at the end of the year because we're aware not everyone can. come to it, and it's nice just to get it recorded for us. So yeah, there's a few bits of music that aren't original to us, which makes it harder to broadcast that sort of things. We might do an abridged version of the show with just our stuff. So yeah, there are plans, but they are very loose. There's
Yeah.
nothing fixed. Yeah.
Well, that's good. Yeah. I know a lot of us, especially those of us who live in the States and elsewhere, would absolutely love to be able to see like an official recorded show from the tour.
Yeah. Oh, that's good to hear. Yeah, I think we will. We will. We just need to do it. Um,
Yeah.
so I'll let you know.
Okay. I appreciate it. Also, this summer is we're going to see the release of your first children's book called The Last Pebble.
This is more good research, Jonah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, July the 3rd, I think it comes out. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Tim Key's new book comes out the day after on the 4th.
Is that right? I didn't know that.
Yes,
That's true.
yes.
That's
And
good
then
to know.
Mark
I
has a
guess
new book coming out like around the same time too. You guys all have books
brilliant.
coming out. Yeah,
I
like in
think
July.
very different markets. I think Tim's are not
Yeah.
aged aimed at 9 to 12-year-olds.
Yeah, maybe
But
not.
yeah, I think probably for all three of us, it's the thing that gives us the least back in terms of earning a living, but that it's the most effort and maybe the thing we're most proud of. Like writing the book for me was amazing, really difficult. I'm in awe of anyone who can write a book. It takes so much time and effort. But it's lovely that you end up with a thing that, will sit in your bookshelf forever and people can discover it. And yeah, you're committed to those words. But that's what's scary about it. You can't change it. But mine actually was sent
Right.
on Monday, the finished version. So that's it. We're
Oh,
done.
nice. That's I'm really excited to get it. I have it already on pre-order. I'm ready to read
Oh,
it.
thanks,
But
Jonah.
yeah, is there anything that you would like to share with us about the book itself, the plot or anything like that?
Well, it's I'm looking at a cover of it over there, but it's fairly based on my own childhood of having a granddad who was into stones. It's called The Last Pebble. And it's about a boy who finds a special stone. And it's not a magic stone. Maybe it was a magic stone, but it's not a fantasy book at all. It's just it's set very firmly in real life. So it's about relationships and childhood and trying to make friends and trying to fit in with the world and discover there's a story involving his family which I don't want to go into because you hopefully it unravels as you read the book. And I think it took a lot of work, but I think it comes together nicely and it's a sort of hopefully a satisfying ending. But it's the first time I've written any fiction. And you want to take the reader with you on this. It's such an opportunity to take the reader with you to anywhere. Um, and originally it was going to be about a stone that could talk, but my own children told me this stones can't talk. Don't do that. So it's more real than it was going to be. Yeah, but I think if you read the main character is called Trader, named after my granddad, and he's similar to how I was. So hopefully he's not too annoying.
It sounds really interesting. I'm really looking forward to it. So I'm glad to hear a
Cool.
little bit about it. Yeah.
I don't think you're aged 9 to 12, but I do really hope that parents and not parents, just anyone will enjoy it because it's not meant to be. I think 9 to 12 is such a specific age bracket. So for me, it's anyone who likes reading.
Yeah. And I know I myself was a very voracious reader at that time. So I know
Mm.
I know friends of mine who have kids who are still very big readers. So I know it's still around. Kids are still reading, so which is a very good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. This is not it's not Harry Potter. It's not Hunger Games. This is very sweet and innocent. Not that Harry Potter isn't, but you know what I mean. It's a pretty old-fashioned English story. So let's
Excellent.
see if there's still an appetite for that.
Yeah. And then I have one more question before we end this wonderful interview that we've had. Um, our site, uh, everybody on the staff is a very, very big fan of bad puns and dad jokes. Do you have any particular bad puns or dad jokes that you would like to share with us?
Well, the joke that I tell if my kids need a joke, and I love this joke, and we do a song about it in the show actually, is why did the man fall down the well? Because he couldn't see that well. That's a great joke.
It is.
It's
I
innocent,
I knew the
sweet, it's
punchline,
quite
but I didn't want
clever.
to ruin it.
Yeah, I think it's a
That's a
joke that
great
everyone
one.
should
Yeah.
know. It's easy to tell. You can't really get it wrong because I can never remember jokes. But that's I don't know. I think it sort of blindsides you, but it's so obvious. It stares you in the face. That's my dad joke.
Okay. I'll share a good one with you then. There
Yes,
are
please.
there are two muffins in an oven. One looks to the other and says, "Boy, it's hot in here." And the other one says, "Oh my gosh, it's a talking muffin."
Yeah, that's lovely.
Yeah.
I love it. Both those jokes. I think there's varieties of those jokes that travel
Yeah.
around the world, around through the generations. I've heard a very similar joke to that, but not with muffins. I guess it works with whatever inanimate
Yeah.
object you can
Yeah.
chuck in.
Yeah.
But
That's the
nicely
beauty of
told,
it.
Jonah. I will. Yeah, that's a good joke. I think when I was a kid, I loved jokes like, well, my favorite was "What's brown and sticky? A stick."
A
That was my
stick.
favorite joke as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
That's a
think
good
my
one. Yeah.
kids like that joke. And yeah, and I like stupid jokes. Like there was one which is what's green and brown and has six legs, and if it falls out of a tree on top of you, it will kill you. It's a snooker table. That's the. It didn't
Uh,
really make sense, but yeah.
oh, I'm sorry. I'm actually American, so even though I laughed, I don't understand the reference. We don't have that here.
No, even better, even better.
No, I know what it is, of course. I'll leave you with one more then. This is a
Okay.
joke that my late uncle used to tell me when I was a kid, and it has stuck with me all these years because he was just such a funny man. Um, so there was a man who went to a restaurant and he ordered a meal, and the meal came with a slice of bread. And after the meal, the waiter came up and asked, "How was your meal?" And he said, "Fine, but I don't think you serve enough bread." So he comes in again the next week, he orders the same meal. The waiter remembers him, so he gives him two slices of bread. And he comes back and says, "How was your meal?" And the guy says, "Fine, but I don't think you serve enough bread." So the next time the guy comes in, he gives him four slices of bread, and he still says it's not enough bread. So next time he comes in, the chef spots him from the back, takes a whole loaf of bread and he slices it in half and he puts it on a plate. He sends it out. After the meal, the waiter comes up and says, "How was your meal?" And he said, "Fine, but why did you go back to only serving me two slices of bread?"
Yeah, this is good. This is good. I like it when it creates a little world where you imagine these characters carry on like this forever and ever. No, nice. Oh, he sounds like a good uncle.
Yeah, he really was. Um,
Hmm.
so before we go, was there any last thoughts, anything you wanted to promote or share with us before we let you go today?
No, I always want to say to people that talking about yourself in podcasts, it feels very narcissistic and navel gazing, and having the opportunity to sort of plug your stuff is great. But just go out and watch movies and read books. They don't have to be my thing. Well, I'll tell
Yeah,
you, Tim Key and Tom Baston have a movie coming out called The
I was
Ballad of Wallace Island.
Yep, I was just
Go
gonna
and
mention
watch
it
that.
because I saw it. Yeah, I saw it a couple
Have you
weeks
seen it?
ago. It's outstanding. Um, I immediately ran to their official merch store and I bought. They have a baseball cap and a T-shirt. I bought them immediately.
Brilliant.
Yeah, The Ballad of Wallace Island is an amazing movie. If anybody out there has a chance to see it, please do.
Yeah.
It's really heartfelt, heartwarming. It's so funny, and if you are a fan of Tim's, the writing style and the dialogue is very him. So it's
Yeah. But the
totally worth
soundtrack
it.
is great. Well, the soundtrack's on
Yeah,
Spotify, which all Tom's work, and that's a great thing for this summer.
yeah, we actually just recently recorded an episode of the Transformative Taskmaster podcast.
Mhm.
Myself and Lewis, who is one of the tech guys that helps us. Well, he does like basically everything. Lewis and I recorded an episode just talking about that movie, about how
Ah,
much we
great.
loved it. So yeah,
Brilliant. Brilliant. Yeah.
it was
I
really
think it should
good.
do well. Yeah. I don't
Yeah,
think it comes out here for another 3 weeks, but yeah,
yeah,
it's exciting.
yeah. The end of May. We got it before you guys, so I guess
Yeah.
we're just better.
In general. Yeah. Who could argue with that?
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end the recording here, but thank you so much for joining us at Nerds and Beyond. We really appreciate it. And
Pleasure, Jonah.
yeah, we hope you have a great rest of your day.